Hello and welcome to this radiotimes.com Killing Eve podcast special. I'm Sarah Doran.
And I'm Eleanor Blair-Griffiths.
And we are here to share our thoughts on Killing Eve. Now, Eleanor, tell us, what is Killing Eve?
It's just a really unusual drama. So it's a kind of a cat and mouse storyline between Sandra Oh's character, Eve Pilastri, who is a kind of a disillusioned MI5 agent hoping for bigger things, and a complete psychopath called Villanelle, who's just going around the world killing people really sadistically, and they kind of become obsessed with each other, and it's just fantastic. I mean, and it's written by Phoebe Waller Bridge, who obviously brought us Fleabag, and I just think the writing and the acting is phenomenal. So that's the basic premise.
To put it in a nutshell, I mean, the thing is, like we can say about this particular drama, it's probably not suitable for the younger members of the family. Killing Eve, I think the title possibly gives it away. Villanelle is not holding back in her murders, and it feels almost weird that we're kind of laughing about it, but we'll get to why as we continue the chat about this show. But it's really something very, very different. You're right. We've both seen a few episodes. I've seen a couple more, I think, than you have at the moment.
Damn you.
We're going to try not to spoil anything in this podcast,
yes,
I should
absolutely.
say. We will talk a little bit about what's to come, because Killing Eve will air on BBC One on Saturday nights in the UK, but it'll also be dropped as a full box set after the first episode has aired. So chances are you could be listening to this podcast months after it's already been out, and you're about to binge it. We're not going to spoil it for you. We're just going to discuss a little bit about it and talk about why you should watch it. Eleanor, I know you feel like we've said this is a really different drama, so we have to quantify and qualify why this is a really different drama. So what was kind of the first thing that stood out to you that really set Killing Eve apart?
I think it was how much I was laughing at, well, how much I was laughing, really. I haven't laughed so much at a drama in a while, but also how much I was laughing at the strangest things, including some really bloody, sadistic murders by Villanelle. And it's just the writing quality, the acting quality just draws you in from the very first minute. I think people are going to be hooked on this.
I think as well, it's that writing, isn't it, coupled with the power of those leads. So we mentioned Sandra Oh from Grey's Anatomy. Famous for saying "you are my person," I think, to Meredith, wasn't it? I'm very sorry, Grey's Anatomy fans, if we get this wrong. I see her in a lot of
no spoilers for Killing Eve, spoilers for Grey's Anatomy.
I see her in a lot of Grey's Anatomy memes and kind of gifs saying "you're my person." But she's fantastic, so good in this role. And then Jody Comer as Villanelle. I mean, I'm a massive Jody Comer fan. I have been since My Mad Fat Diary. Then she starred in BBC Three's 13, where she played a young girl who'd been brought back from captivity. She's famous for playing Dr. Foster's female foe in the drama opposite Saran Jones, and of course The Slap. And then, well, not The Slap the series, but there's a slap in Dr. Foster
I see.
and a dinner party. And she's been in Rillington Place. Now we're seeing her again in Killing Eve. She's a fantastic actress, and she just, you say, those kind of laugh out loud kind of murders. It's a really strange phrase to say, isn't it? Laugh out loud murder. But I think so much of that is down to just how she does it with that twinkle in her eye. There's something about Jodie Comer. It just morphs from one persona into the other in this series.
Like Dexter, but kind of funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something, you don't want to ruin it, but just the way she carries things off with so much style, you can kind of see why the Eve Pilastri character is sort of obsessed with her.
You mentioned that, like, their cat and mouse game, their back and forth, their chemistry. I think we can say early on, like, you don't see them in the same room, but that doesn't necessarily matter.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like a 2-for-1, really. In that you've got these two amazing female leads almost in their own storylines, but each of them is just phenomenal. So
yeah, it's so rare. You always get one that might seem a little bit stronger than the other, but these two are just like Eve and Villanelle. I think Sandra Oh and Jody Comer are just perfectly matched.
And it's worth mentioning some of the other amazing actors in this as well, because one of the really great things about Killing Eve is the supporting cast.
Oh my God.
And they should all, to be honest, all of them
It's
should have Emmy nominations.
It's a dream cast.
Yeah.
My personal fave has to be David Haig as Bill, who is Eve's kind of police partner / MI5 partner, I should say. He's one of the few male leads in the show, and he's just so lovable. he's so dry. You get so attached to him. He's absolutely brilliant.
And one of the things I love about that character, actually, to go on a slight digression, is that he's not perfect. And in another series, he could become almost like the person she's reacting against. But,
Completely.
you know, even at one point, sort of when she's in charge, almost undermining authority because she was his junior. But it comes back from that. So I really like their relationship is actually far more than 2D.
Completely. And there's some scenes where, again, we don't want to spoil anything, but you think he could easily turn his back on her, and actually he's completely got her back. He's there to support her. You know, if she's going down, he's going down too. We're still not giving away why, but you know, he really is just a friend and a colleague, and it's really nice to see that in the drama for a change.
But we also have to mention Fiona Shaw, who is amazing as sort of MI6 boss.
I always get MI6 and MI5 mixed up, so I'm not going to put in my 2 cents on this one because I'll just get it wrong.
But she's also on the hunt for this female assassin. I think we can safely say.
She's so cool and calm and collected. I mean...
And really odd.
Yeah, people will know her best probably as Petunia Dursley from the Harry Potter films. Or if you liked Three Men and a Little Lady, she is the school headmistress who's about to take in the little girl and falls in love with one of the 3 men who are looking after said little lady. I'm sorry, Eleanor, I can see your face glazing over here.
We're doing so many spoilers for non-Killing Eve series.
Yeah, I know. But she's just a brilliant actress, and I think she has some of the best lines in the series, just some of the most ridiculous throwaway lines.
And talking of the best throwaway lines, I just think Phoebe Waller Bridge's writing is just sort of set apart from all the other screenwriters by her just little comic lines that are just thrown in there just for fun, just because you can, just because they're delicious. Yeah. And they don't have to be there. But they are, and it's just great, these fantastic little moments, and that just makes it what it is, really.
It really doesn't feel like you're sitting there watching a police procedural or a detective drama. You know, there are, of course, all the things that need to come in, you know, the terminology, the investigations, all that kind of stuff. But then there's just really random lines. Like, there's a scene, I'm going to spoil a tiny bit, there's a scene in A Butcher's where Fiona Shaw's character is talking to Sandra Oh's character, and literally she's like, just look at the lovely sausages. And it's not meant to distract anybody. It's not meant to, you know, kind of take the conversation away from anything. She's just observing the world around her and, you know, just plucking the thought out of her head.
And I also love that her sense of humour and Eve's sense of humour are both brilliant, but both kind of slightly mismatched.
Yeah.
So they're not like a brilliant comic double act. They're each in their own little comic worlds. And they don't necessarily 100% get each other.
No.
But they're both...
There's
fantastic.
A great kind of awkwardness to it.
Yes.
Like,
not in a awkward to watch.
No, but like as in when you're in the office with one of your colleagues and you make a joke that they just don't get.
It's never happened. Everyone gets my jokes.
Nobody gets mine. I think another thing that I really love about this, and you know, we've been talking a lot about the women, it's just they're not strong women, which is a term I hate. You know, strong female characters. But they are women with lots of layers. Killing Eve just has this appeal that I think is for everyone. My boyfriend sat and watched it with me, and I think he was honestly more into it than I was, you know.
Yeah. Key takeaway message, it's for everyone.
It's for everyone.
Should watch this.
Yes, exactly.
We say everyone should watch it. Unless you're like under 16, probably don't watch it then.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
But male, female, old, young, I think you're going to find it funny.
It has universal appeal, I think.
Yeah.
In just how different all of the characters are, you know, not just the women. I mean, I focus on the women there, and we always get like tongue-tied and wrapped up in these conversations about how to say, you know, it's great, it's got girls in it, but it's not just for girls. Yeah. And it's so annoying that we actually have to have those conversations still, you know what I mean? And then we bring them up, so they're had. But
well, it is a conversation around this show because it is still remarkable, the things that they're doing, that Phoebe Waller Bridge is doing, and the characters she's writing. There's several things I really like about this, and one is they don't make Villanelle like some kind of sex kitten psychopath murderer thing going on. She doesn't. She's casually bisexual. It's not really a big plot point, but so she has you know her lovers or whatever. But when it comes to her killing, she's not like she's not she's not using her sex, or she's not taking some sexual pleasure from the killings, or so that I quite like that as because it could have been. I feel like some people would have gone down that route, and that would have been the wrong route. And the second is that I don't think that any of them have like a simple motivation or reason for their behavior, and it's all nobody's like wildly predictable. So it just keeps surprising you, and the characters are never like fully explained. Villanelle is never fully explained what's really going on with her, I don't think.
I think it's interesting as well, because like there's no feeling that you get when you're watching her like, you know, she's just some troubled girl who's fallen down the wrong path. She loves what she's doing. There's a fantastic scene. I mean, again, we don't want to spoil too much, but there's a fantastic scene where there's almost like a kind of reverse psychology test, isn't there?
Oh yeah, that's a fantastic scene with the therapist. You know, when her boss takes her in to make sure that she's cold-hearted and psychopathic enough to be doing her job, and is horrified by any display of genuine human emotion.
Of course, we have to give a throw out to her boss, played by Kim Bodnia, star of The Bridge. So a man with a background in this kind of drama. He is glorious, and they have such a great dynamic.
Yeah, he's just like this sort of weird uncle figure who is also instructing her to kill these people.
This is the thing with this show, isn't it? Like, I have written down on this page, why should you watch it? As kind of the question we have to answer right now. And it's almost difficult to summarise it, isn't it? It's just so good.
So yeah, why to watch Killing Eve? I think it's just spot on in so many ways. It's funny, it's engaging, it's the writing, it's the acting, it's something really unusual. Speaking as someone who watches a lot of television, a lot of TV dramas, this is probably one of my top 3 things of the year, if not the best thing of the year that I've seen so far. And I think it's just hilarious. And I know that there's been a lot of hype around it so far already. I mean, when it went out on BBC America, because this went out in America first, it only got 500,000 views on that first episode, and since then it's become a bit of a phenomenon. And now it's coming to the UK, which kind of feels like it's really its home.
Yeah,
because,
definitely.
You know, there's so many British cast in it, and it's such a BBC comedy that I just think I'm really hoping that a lot of people are going to tune into it, and that they're, you know, and have that experience.
That they'll love it as much as we have.
Exactly, yeah.
So are you planning to tune in to Killing Eve? Have we convinced you that you should be watching it? Have you watched it already, and do you have thoughts you'd love to share? Don't be afraid to use the comments box below to let us know. And if it's your first time coming to it, I think all we can say is enjoy it. Until the next Radio Times podcast special, I've been Sarah.
And I'm still Eleanor.
She still is. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.